Hey, what's happening, everybody? JayShockblast here, and what is going on? Happy New Year! It is actually January 2nd. I got really busy on New Year's Day doing the whole thing, family thing. I actually had to bring my brother to the airport. He had to be there at 6 a.m. in Providence, Rhode Island. I had to drive him an hour away, and so kind of messed with me a little bit throughout the day. I actually went to bed wicked early last night. But so sorry I forgot to actually do this video on New Year's Day. That was my original intention. In this video, we're going to do my top 5 games of the year and a little bit of a year in review. Because a lot of people typically don't get through the entire video, I'm going to save the year that was kind of for the end. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me what's my game of the year and stuff like that. So I want to actually start off with game of the year. And I would love to know what was your game of the year in the video. So in this video, we're going to talk about my top 5 favorites. Now, as I think back on 2016, it was a good year for gaming for a lot of people. Thor is down here hanging out, by the way. If you're wondering what I'm doing with my arm, huh? They're wondering. So he might come up and visit. Hey, come here. Come here. So Thor would like to say Happy New Year as well. And I'm pretty sure he just slobbered on me. Say what's up. They're over there. They're right there. So Thor, he's a slobbery dog. Kiss. Have a kiss. Alright. Whatever. So gotta push him off sometimes, and wipe the drool from off of me. So a lot of people have anyway been asking me to do this, so totally threw me off my game plan. I do all of these in one take. I'm not going to mess around editing. I know there are more slick professional ways to do it. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, to kind of work on that type of stuff, to get better at editing, to get better at doing everything to the fullest, not feeling like I'm half-A-ing it, so I could be PC. But anyway, it was a good year for gaming for a lot of people. For me, I thought it was average. It was not the best year for gaming. There's a lot of games that a lot of people loved that made it onto Game of the Year lists that I liked, but like they weren't like game changers for me, and a lot of people treated them like game changers. One of those games is Doom. I thought it was a good game. I didn't really get that far into it because it was so intense, and a lot of times, like, if I can't, like, I was streaming it. That's, I think, the problem I made. I live streamed a little bit of Doom at one point, and it was so intense that I didn't enjoy streaming it. Like, just the way that the game worked and the way everything happened in the game, I just didn't get the enjoyment I wanted out of it. And then other things came out, and I just never went back to it. So Doom is one of those games where I think it's a good game, a really great game. Maybe if I went back to it, I would have a better time. But I just didn't enjoy it. Another game, Uncharted 4. Beautiful game, but Uncharted's never been my style. It's not really a huge platformer, and the graphics are incredible, don't get me wrong. The story was interesting, but I wasn't really enjoying it, and I never went back to it. So that's another one. Overwatch, like, amazing game. Like, it's a fun game. I get it. I understand why people like it, but I never grew attached to it, and that's why it's not going to be on my list. And there's plenty of other games like that. Like, I bought a lot of games, like Watch Dogs 2. Maybe that's a game that'll end up on my list, but like, there was so many games coming out that I just couldn't find the time for it to kind of fit it in here. So I'm sad about a lot of those things, but at the same time, it is what it is, A lot of times when I decide what games I'm going to play, it's based on what I can put on the channel. Like, what are you guys going to watch? And if I start playing something and you guys don't watch it, like, I instantly lose interest. And I know that's like the wrong way to do it, and that's another thing I'm going to work on in 2017 is I'm just going to try to have more fun and take my own advice. My own advice has always been to people, oh, what advice would you give me if I'm starting as a YouTuber? My advice has always been just have fun, and don't worry about anything else, and people will follow. And I think as it's become more of a business for me, video games haven't been as much fun as they used to. But I need to really kind of take a step back and go back to what got me here, and that is just having fun with what I'm playing and what I'm doing. So, there's such a huge backlog of games I need to play now, but there were some amazing games that come out this year. My game of the year is a no-brainer. It's probably my most favorite in the franchise in a long time, and we're going to get into that. Before we do that, I want to talk about my biggest surprise of the year, a game I never would have thought I would have enjoyed. I never even thought I would have played, but I played hoping that a lot of people would watch the videos, but it's one of those ones where, I'm not going to lie, I was a little surprised people didn't watch this because a lot of people asked me about it, but this is my biggest surprise of the year, Attack on Titan. I didn't know anything about Attack on Titan going into it, and you really don't need to, because I'm under the impression that this basically tells the story of Season 1. So, I actually really enjoyed this game. My buddy, The Multitude, and I played through a ton of it. So, it was a really cool game. It's very, very repetitive. You're doing a lot of the same thing, but I just enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. So, let's go ahead and get into my top 5. Now, I normally would do a top 10, but I did not feel comfortable doing a top 10 because I would have been putting games on here for the sake of putting them, for the sake of filling a list. There were no games that made me say, I want to attach myself to that. Like, I would have included Overwatch and Doom on my list, and they weren't great games for me. I didn't play them that much, and that's not the right way to do it. I would have stretched Skyrim onto here because it's remastered and it got re-released, and I haven't even had a chance to play it yet. But I know what game it is, and I think it was my game of the year it came out. It might not have been. That was a good year. But anyway, I'm going to go with Titanfall 2 as my number 5. I really enjoyed the campaign, and this is exactly why they needed a campaign, because you have an attachment to these characters. BT is a great droid character, definitely one of the better droid characters you're ever going to encounter in any form of entertainment. He's up there, with an R2-D2 or a BB-8 or K2SO now. He's one of those droids, a GLaDOS or, any of those. Great game, great story. I didn't play enough multiplayer, but it's basically like Titanfall multiplayer. So it's nice to actually understand why we're fighting, and I think this, for me, if Overwatch had just a short, 4 or 5 hour campaign where we understood why these characters existed, or even if each character had their own little one-off, quick story where you can basically learn how to use them and understand more about them, and I didn't have to go running for comic books that they post online, I think I would have had more of an attachment to it. But I feel like the only attachment you really have to that game, is just, oh, that character's really cute. It doesn't really... that was a little bit of a disappointment as far as the reason why Overwatch isn't on here. Because it's a fun game, don't get me wrong. Alright, anyway, enough of that. Number 4, shocker, Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. So, I would have preferred this be number 3 instead of the game that's number 3. The only thing that's lacking on this game is the fact that so many of the characters are just not that great. They're just thrown in token characters. That's literally one of the only complaints I can make, though, because as far as actual Lego games go, this is as good as it gets. Like, it was so much fun to play as these Star Wars characters, even the classic characters, even even though they kind of dropped the ball with all the PlayStation exclusive DLC, stuff like that. I didn't want to reward them, but it's been such a weak year for me. This is one of the games I played the absolute most. I do love it. It's the kind of things behind the scenes that drive me nuts with them. I don't want to hold that against the game because it's an amazing game. It's the best Star Wars Lego game. like actual game wise, like maybe not story wise, maybe not character list wise, but as far as the actual gameplay is concerned and how much you can do, it's the best Lego Star Wars game ever made. And I played a lot of it. I wish it wasn't done. I wish there was more. I wish I could play as Lego Darth Revan. But number 4, Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Number 3, Lego Marvel's Avengers. Now, look, I know what's good for me. These are my games of the year. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Lego games, but you know, that's what I. This is the games that I played the most. This game would have been legendary, as far as I'm concerned, with a couple different, just with Deadpool. Just giving me Deadpool. If I had Deadpool in this game, I would have never said another bad word. And the DLC situation. Like, the PlayStation exclusive DLC is still not on Xbox One. As I stated previously, it never will be, according to them. And they didn't feel the need to tell anybody. By the way, I'm talking about the games of the year, the positive stuff. But, like, that's what I think about when I think of these games. And it's so unfortunate because inside of this box is such an amazing game. Like, very worthy of this, distinction. And Lego Star Wars is the exact same way. Like, both of these games are two of the best Lego games ever made structurally. And it's unfortunate that there was so much negativity around it from not just me, but a lot of people when it comes down to, characters and especially the PlayStation exclusive stuff. Like, they had never... I can't believe they never released that stuff on Xbox One or the Wii U, for those of you with the Wii U. Like, that's not right. So, but moving forward, number 2, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. Absolutely loved this game. I wish the ending was better, but loved this game. Adam Jensen is one of my absolute most favorite characters in all of gaming, and I'm so thrilled with how this game came out. I know a lot of people complain about being able to buy Praxis kits. I bought Praxis kits, so I guess I have no reason to talk. I don't care. I didn't buy many of them, but I bought enough to get the boost early on that I wanted, and that was really it. But I'm not against microtransactions per se, but I get it. This game for me was just so good, so phenomenal. It's my number 2 game of the year. My number 1 game of the year, though, is my favorite in the franchise since Bad Company 2. Battlefield 1 is incredible. Everything about it is incredible. They finally got a story that makes you care. Nothing against Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, but they were very vanilla, generic stories. Never been DICE's strength. Their multiplayer has always been their strength. So for the story to be so amazing and so epic, absolutely, absolutely loved it. But the multiplayer for me, like, I loved Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, don't get me wrong, but, like, there's something different about this. And I think it's because it's not this, it's just different enough. We've had so many games with, modern day and futuristic weapons. This is such a throwback where we're using a bunch of guns that, feel archaic to us. But I love it, I really do. And I didn't think I would. I was worried about that aspect because, if you've watched most of my Battlefield 1 videos, I'm a tanker. Like, to me, that's the most important thing, is how good is it playing in a tank. And I love playing in a tank in this game, especially once you get the light flanker tank. Like, for me, that is as good as it gets, I love playing with that tank. I know the defense is a little tough. Hey. Oh, the perils of having a dog when you're trying to make a video. So yeah, my game of the year is Battlefield 1. hands down, bar none. Totally thrilled about that. Most disappointing game of the year, easily No Man's Sky. And obviously, I have the Steelbook version. I got the collector's edition. I wanted to love this game. If I turned on my PlayStation, oh no, actually, I did finally change the background. It had like a special background. I loved the artwork. I loved everything about it. It was the game that I thought was going to finally make me, say lots of positive stuff about the PlayStation 4. And in the end, it was just another terrible game. And I know that they did their big update recently. I haven't come back to it since because the holidays and, all the other plethora of games that have come out at the end of the year. But, it hurt to not like that game. Like, I played maybe an hour, and there was nothing remotely interesting about it to me. And I've spent time playing Minecraft. I've spent time playing, Lego games, stuff like that. I did not find it remotely interesting. Nothing about it was done well. I felt like very, very let down. And I hate having to say that because I know they're a small studio. I think the initial reaction to how it was, especially from the very vocal PlayStation fanboy community, not an insult, but the Sony defense force is probably some of the most vocal online people, like online presence in all of gaming. And those people flipped out so hard for the game that I think expectations eventually just became so unreasonable for such a small studio to be able to manage. And I hope they do have a redemption story in them. I hope the improvements that they make are worthwhile and make the game a lot more fun. But for me, nothing was more disappointing than that. And I say that having criticized, my number 3 and 4 games very openly. But those weren't game related. Those were just, business related more than anything. I just can't help myself but, talk about them that way. So that was it. I don't have an album of the year because honestly, I barely listen to music anymore. I can't even tell you what album I bought this year. I know I enjoyed, Periphery and Woven War. I think they both released albums this year that I enjoyed quite a bit. I don't think Seven Dust released anything this year. I can't even remember because, and that's crazy to me because music used to be so big. Movie of the year is hard. It comes down to Deadpool, Civil War, or Rogue One. It's one of those three, and quite frankly, I don't really want to pick between them because I'd probably end up saying Rogue One just because it's the one I saw the most recently. It was a good year for movies, though, and even Suicide Squad was okay. Civil War I just enjoyed quite thoroughly. I don't even remember how many times I saw that. I mean, Deadpool, gosh, I pretty much feel like I know all the lines of the movie at this point. I am going to have another video later on tonight about something related to Deadpool 2. So stay tuned for that. But man, 2016, I'm glad to see it go. I'm not going to lie, guys. 2016 was at times my best year and at times my worst year. And I'll just get the bad stuff out of the way, Obviously, I lost Teddy. Teddy passed away this year, and that still chokes me up a little bit to kind of talk about. Yeah, I've got Thor now, but Thor is not Teddy, and Teddy is not Thor. I miss Teddy a lot, and I wish he was still here. I wish he was still here, with Thor, and I feel like they would have been best buddies. I feel like Teddy could have been a mentor to Thor, but it is what it is. that video that I posted was really hard to post, and I needed it though. And you guys have no idea how much it made me like feel like just the how much pain you guys lifted with your words and caring. It was rough, and I know people lose dogs and pets all the time, but like, it was tough, and I was in a tough point in my life too. With everything I went through health wise with my legs. I've talked about it sometimes in streams before, but I'll get to that in a minute. I also got laid off. I had a job where I worked for a company that I absolutely adored for almost 6 years. I would have made it to 6 years. I was like 3 or 4 months away from 6 years. And that was tough. And it's still tough because, I see their products all the time. I still have some of their products. Anytime I watch a football game, every time I look at a head coach, their name is strapped on there. And it's tough. I have a lot of really great friends that I worked with. Some of my best friends in the world, Madman and Yid among them, that I miss seeing all the time. And I had so many life-changing moments just working for that company. I'm a better person for having worked for that company. But losing your job is pretty tough. So, and especially down the stretch. Like, down the stretch was hard for me because of my legs. And for those of you that don't know, I had some pretty... I found out I had a condition in my legs. It's called lymphedema, I believe. And it, like, the pressure inside the legs, instead of, like, kind of coming in, pushes out. And I cut myself on my leg walking down the stairs, and it started draining fluid. And I could never get the wound to heal. And the wounds, like, it almost looked like at one point that my leg exploded. And it would drain so much fluid. And I spent February to early December having to go to the doctors as sometimes 3 times a week to get my legs wrapped up in 4 layers of bandages. And the amount of pain that I was in a lot of times was really hard. And that was one of the reasons why I didn't live stream very much, because it's tough. It was tough. But I'm really happy to say that I am healed, and I'm 100% healed. Knock on wood. Hopefully that's something that stays that way for quite a while. Everything is getting better and better day by day. So, I am trying to, do all the things that I need to do to get better and stay better and just improve my quality of life. I know I'm a big guy, and I know, sometimes people want to make fun of me. I actually have the word fat blacklisted from my channel. I'm not going to lie about that. If you ever use the word, if you've ever been in stream and you've been talking about something else, not me, and you use the word, it won't appear. And that's mostly because I don't really have to put up with it. I don't. I know what I am. I know who I am. I know how I got this way, and I know I need to get better. And that's something that I'm also going to try to do. It was really hard because, when both of your legs have massive wounds stretching, my left leg, the wound at one point was probably 70% of my leg from my knee down to my ankle was open wound, and very stationary, not much I can do, and that's an excuse too, because obviously I've always been a bigger guy. So we're gonna work on that. We're gonna cut it down the natural way. Doctors have talked to me about surgery, but I refuse to do it. I I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like it's right, you know? Um I'm not I'm relatively healthy, believe it or not. Like other than, being overweight. Um all my blood tests come back well, all that stuff. So I say things like this because I feel like I become accountable to it. Like, I don't really need to open my soul in these vlogs and stuff like that. But I feel like when I say it, I kind of have to live it, because that's just the type of person I am. So that's something that I definitely want to get better at. And to be completely honest with you, those three things are pretty major. Losing your job, having the issues with my legs, and losing my best buddy Teddy. But I survived, and I'm here, and I made it, and I did it because I have the best people in my life. I am so fortunate to have a great family. My mom and my brother Eric and my dad, they're all so supportive of me. I don't know what I would do without my mom. I don't ever give her nearly enough credit. And it always makes me feel bad to say that, but she's amazing, and she really takes good care of me. Um, you know, even though I live like 10 miles away, you know, cutting through a pretty big city, she'd be here in a second if I needed her. Um, so, um, Becky, my girlfriend, I mean, I don't even know what I can say. I mean, I don't know how I would have made it through this year without her. Um, she's a rock. She's awesome. I could not have done better any possible way. She is the best. I love her so much. And we had some really great times this year. We went to New York City. We went to Baltimore. We went to Philadelphia. We went to Toronto. Went into Boston for some Red Sox games. We did a lot. And, considering how my legs were, it's kind of crazy to think back that I was able to manage to do all those things. And, it would have been really easy for her to walk away because, like, it's a tough spot to be in. But I'm very fortunate, and her family is amazing. Her mom will probably watch this video and get a kick that I mentioned her. So I really hit home runs there. Like, I I just that's what it's all about. Like family and friends, like my buddy Mark, Madman, all my Death of Hope guys, my buddy Yid, Mike, my neighbor Greg. I have the best neighbor in the world, Greg and Alicia and little Spencer. Um, it snows and my neighbor like just does my driveway, like no questions asked. And he watches all my videos too. I I could not have better neighbors. I really couldn't. And you know, uh, I have all of that, and it's just that's what really matters. And that part of my year, like that's why I don't look at 2016 and the bad things that happened and say, "Oh, it was the worst year ever." I honestly like I feel like I'm just getting too old. And I know this video is getting longer. I didn't intend for it to be so long. Um, but I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm just appreciating the more simple things in life. Um, being laid off for the first time in like so long. I mean, it forced me to take a leap of faith in myself and do this YouTube thing full time, which has been it still scares me, especially with the money not being as good as it used to be. I'm not making anywhere near what I was a year ago, And a year ago, I wasn't making anywhere near what I was a year before. And it's crazy because the channel keeps growing. And, like, it's weird for me. I know I've talked about before, like, I've talked about maybe doing a Patreon and stuff like that. And it's so awkward for me. And I don't know how to do it. And I don't know, like, what to do. And I don't feel good about doing stuff like that, but I do think of it like this. My favorite band is Seven Dust, and 2 years ago, no questions asked, I bought VIP passes for their show just so I could meet them and get my picture taken with them. Something that I've done at least 15 times in my life, if not more. I paid that money just to be guaranteed the opportunity to do so. And I know that there's a lot of you guys that would probably do the same thing for your favorite celebrities. And I don't know, I don't consider myself a celebrity, okay? I'm not full of myself, but I don't know where I stand in that category. But, and I just don't want to feel like I'm a beggar, like that's the thing to get over. But I get it. Like everybody else is doing it, so why not me? And why haven't I? Well, that's the thing that I fight all the time. And it is what it is. The last great thing I want to talk about, actually, becoming a full-time YouTuber, to me, it is a great thing. And I feel like if I didn't do that, I would have never gotten better. After losing my job, if I had to go out and get a new job, it would have been really, really difficult with my legs. Even down the stretch with my old company, who were absolutely amazing with me, like fantastic in ways that I can never thank them enough for. Like I wasn't working 40-hour weeks and I worked from home. I didn't even have to go to the office. Like right there used to be, or right there, since you can't see my arm point that way, there used to be a work computer setup. Like whenever you guys see me do unboxing videos and you see all the cool stuff in the background, I used to have a work laptop there and I would work there, and I was in so much pain that I couldn't even sit in a chair and talk to people on the phone for 8 hours a day. Like, you know, uh, and they were amazing. But if I didn't get laid off, there is no way I would have ever become a full-time YouTuber because I liked the security of having my job. I liked my job a lot. I liked the company I worked for. I loved the people I worked with. I think I loved the people I worked with more than I liked the job, and because of the people I worked with, I liked the job more than I otherwise should have. And maybe that separation started to occur to me as I became separated from the job. But you know, um, it's scary. It's still scary, and there are times that I wonder if I need to start, doing something more. But I feel like I am in a position. Oh, Thor, he just drank water and slobbered all over my knee. So there are times that I feel like I need to do something, but I think I'm gonna be able to keep doing this for a bit, and situations will be changing soon, and I think 2017 is gonna be an amazing year. I really do. So we're gonna focus on the positive, aren't we, Thor? And Thor, you know, Thor is another one of the best things to happen to me this year. Um, he's not Teddy. He's dumb as a box of rocks, but he loves. He's very loving. He's looking at me weird because he has no idea who I'm talking to. And he's trying to figure out what I want and what I'm saying. But he is such a lovable guy. He's a lot of work. I'm not used to having a young pup. Um, he's got so much energy, and he just wants to play all the time. But I am so thankful to have him because it would be really tough for me. I bought this house for me and Teddy. You know, like I bought this house to have a nice, beautiful yard for him to run around in, and it was really empty, really, really empty. After he passed away, and Thor, you filled up that space, so very thankful for that, and I am ready. You know, I know it's just another day. Like nothing really changes now that it's 2017, but it's more the attitude. You know, it's like thinking about the fact that hey, it's a new calendar year. You know, it's a fresh start. You know, it's maybe token, but you know, we're getting a fresh start at things, and you know, I'm really looking forward to building off of the momentum that is the end of 2016, and you know, just having more fun, doing some more traveling this year with Becky. You know, hoping Thor settles down a little bit more, but continues to be the loving little guy that he is. And honestly, guys, I think in closing, not expecting this to have been a nearly 40-minute video. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. And this is exactly why I started with my game of the year. I think in closing, I can't help but thank you guys so much. Like, I think you guys get it. You allow me to be honest. Like, I don't think the way I do things is going to work for a lot of YouTubers. I like being honest with you guys, and I like being real, you know? And I'm not apologetic. I'm very unapologetically me, you know? Like, people will say, oh, you should do this, you should do this. And I say, oh, you should mind your effing business. You know, that's just how I am. And I do things the way I want to. And I know I'm trying to get better at a lot of stuff. I'm not the best YouTuber in the world. I never pretend to be the best YouTuber in the world. I know that I have shortcomings. I know I'm not the best video gamer ever. My attention span sometimes is that of a gnat. I would get so much more done, so much better things done if I could focus better sometimes, but I am who I am, and I just need you to know how much I appreciate your support. Like, it's insane. I never thought I would be here with nearly 177,000 subscribers. Thor absolutely loves his little beanbag chair over there. And what's up, buddy? So from me and Thor, we thank you so much for your support. Thor has his own t-shirt in the t-shirt store. You can find him in the description below. Anybody that buys a t-shirt will get featured in a video if they want to, if they send me a picture of them wearing the t-shirt. I just thank you guys so much for making my life amazing. Like, I appreciate that you guys get it. I appreciate that you guys like my videos without me having to say, smash that like button. Or, you know, say things like, if we get 1,000 likes, then I will give you a McLaren car. Or, I don't even know. I wasn't really prepared to say that. But, like, you know, I just thank you, you know. One of the best parts of 2016 for me is getting to know so many of you. And I stress all the time, the best way to communicate with me is on Twitter. You know, follow me on Twitter at JayShockblast. Anybody that follows me on Twitter will tell you that I talk as much as I can. I respond as much as I can. I will hit the little heart like button. Just at least let you know, have that personal feeling that I saw you. I saw what you said, you know, and I appreciate that, you know, and I'm sometimes super responsive, you know, something will pop up on my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm going to answer this right away, you know, like, because I'll forget. And, thank you. Glad Thor made his cameo, albeit far in the video. Make sure you see Rogue One while it's in theaters. It's worth it. And thank you. Thank you for being amazing. If you made it this far, I probably owe you money, But I love you. Thank you. I hope you all had an amazing holiday season. Whatever it is that you celebrate, Chanukah, Christmas, Krampus, Kwanzaa, any of the other ones. I don't know them all. I really just don't know them all. But I hope you had a nice New Year. Hope you got everything you wanted for Christmas. And I look forward to 2017. Most anticipated game of the year right now, honestly, is Lego City Undercover Remaster. Just because it's probably the next big game to get. And I look forward to more Lego Dimensions. The Lego Dimensions stuff should have gotten a mention. But, it is what it is. So, thank you guys. Love you long time. Peace.